Well, welcome to these closing moments of CUGH 2022. My name is Joe Kolars. I'm the incoming chair of the board for our CUGH organization. I'm based at the University of Michigan, where I'm the director of our Center for Global Health Equity. I just have a few comments to make before turning the final comments over to our executive director, Keith Martin. First of all, congratulations. Everyone's come together as a community of practice to talk about, and more importantly, advance our collective commitment to healthy people, healthy planet, and social justice, the theme of this year's conference. What is our community of practice? Institutionally, we have 170 members. We have that many individual members that yielded almost 1,800 participants in this year's conference. What a beautiful diversity of voices. You were able to pivot with us and do our best to do your best to make community despite the complications from the COVID pandemic and our need to be virtual. So thank you. It was a tough task. You did it. For myself, I found new ways of talking, new ways of thinking from this year's conference. Things like talking more about neglected populations rather than neglected diseases. Thinking about the common goods for health, beyond just the usual determinants of health that we wrestle with. And then finally, and I love this, hearing and learning about this comment, community action is more important than political will. I would like to thank our secretariat under the leadership of Keith Martin and our partner institutions, particularly our institutions in California, BRAC in Bangladesh, and so many of the schools and institutions in Africa that come together for Afri Health. Thank you. I thought this year's conference was particularly energizing for me as we try and galvanize and increase our commitment to a movement. Hopefully, you can watch the videos, and like me, I've taken a lot of the nuggets and the learnings from this year's conference to bring back to my own institution so that we cascade these conversations into some of our local context. The work ahead is important, compelling, and frankly daunting. We've got such a climate and environmental crisis. We have political systems that are giving way to conflict in too many areas of the world. So many of us have been struggling to overcome the COVID pandemic, where the problems of equity have really been illuminated. How can we pull together to really have impact, to make a difference, again, to further the community that we're committed to building? I think it's essential that we stay in community, that we stay in dialogue, that we connect with each other, that we find ways to make use of the CUGH platforms and the structure that they've organized to enable all of us. I do think we need each other to share in our commitment to the common good. I think this past year, I think we've all gotten much more in touch with the need to have a decolonizing mindset and to really increase the humility that many of us need to bring more forcefully to our collaboration and to our ways forward. I do believe we can do this despite some of the clouds overhead. I can't think of a better organization and a better way for us to connect across our disciplines, across geography for this common purpose. Again, I would like to thank you for participating and leading so many of us in this journey. We look forward to seeing you physically in present next year at CUGH 2023, which will be in Washington, D.C., April 14th through 16th. And meanwhile, know that those of us on the board, those of us on the leadership team here at CUGH really look forward to your input, to your leadership and your guidance along the way. Thank you. And Keith, I would like to turn things over to you for closing comments.
Thank you very much, Joe. And just to leave off where Dr. Kolars' comments, closing comments were, and as he mentioned, he's our incoming board chair, so we're very lucky to have him lead our board in the next 2 years. I would like to first thank all of you who attended CUGH. This conference wouldn't occur if you weren't attending. So we are really grateful that you took the time to do that. You have a lot of things competing with your attention and your valuable time. So we at CUGH are extremely grateful that you took the last week. And if you attended the satellite sessions the week before, attended some of those too. So thank you very much for that. I'd like to also thank the speakers. We had nearly 300 speakers at CUGH 2022 this year. And when you look at the program, it's really an astounding array of diversity, as Joe mentioned, in terms of discipline, geography, gender, and we really thank you for taking the time to share your expertise and knowledge with all of us. We learned a great deal. And to you, the attendees, at CUGH, we have a mission to improve the health of people and the planet, which dovetails perfectly, of course, with the theme of this conference, healthy people, healthy planet, social justice. And what we try to do at CUGH is make sure at these events that we're able to bring together some of the brightest minds to share some of the cutting edge knowledge. And what we hope that comes out of this is that you learned new things, that we learned new things. We build new partnerships, and we take those partnerships and that knowledge together to be able to breathe life into the extraordinary research that is produced in academia and build that bridge between the production of that knowledge and the policymakers that are actually supposed to address a lot of the challenges before us at different levels of government. So we hope that you take some of what you learned at CUGH 2022, some of the partnerships you have developed, and take the knowledge and engage policymakers and the public, so we breathe life into the research that's produced. And as a colleague once said at a conference, a global health leader, he said, I want to tell you guys in the audience that research is not the end. It is not the end of the beginning. It is the beginning. Oh, sorry, it's not the beginning of the end. It's the end of the beginning. So what we try to do is be able to work with you at CUGH to be able to do that. Now, I'd like to be able to thank a number of people today, and I'd like them to put their cameras on right now, please. So Jenna, Dalal, Julia, Jessica, please put and I'm sorry, the Convex Tech supporter, please put your cameras on now. This is like an iceberg putting this on, and so much work goes into this over a long period of time. So I'd like to thank Dalal Najjar, CUGH's Deputy Director, for her enduring work and support for all of what she does. Jenna Smith, who has been the point person for our conference. She is the lead person in putting on our conferences and has been managing the teams to do all that. Jenna, thank you very, very much for doing that. Julia Zagil, who supports the work that's being done for the conference and does our communications. Thank you, Julia. And that, in fact, is our team here in our office at CUGH, along with the great interns we're lucky to have. Now we have Eileen and Gabriella. Thank you, Theodora Afia, for all of your hard work in supporting Jenna. Doris Steinbeck and Norm Stein at MSI. And I was saying to Jessica before this at Convex, she is the point person. Jessica, you and your team at Convex, and to a person, all of the techs who are on, you have been professional, you have been superb, and thank you very much for doing that. I'd like to thank our board members for all their continued support, including our outgoing board chair, Michelle Berry, who has also been on our executive planning committee wearing 2 hats. So Michelle's done an outstanding job over the 2 years, and I'm really grateful for her leadership over the last 2 years. as the head of our board. But along with her on the executive planning committee, there was Georgina Yaboa from AfroHealth. And check out their conference is coming up in Zimbabwe in August, and you can join that. So please do if you can. Craig Cohen at the University of California Global Health Institute, Sophia Gruskin at the University of Southern California, and Sabina Rashid at the Dean of Public Health at Brack University in Bangladesh. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to our vendors. Your ongoing support means so much in our ability to be able to put on our conferences. We don't have a big sponsor, so your ongoing efforts help us to cobble together the monies to put on this conference every year. And finally, welcome Joe and thank you for becoming our new board chair. We really appreciate you taking the time to be able to do that. You have a lot on your plate, so it's a big commitment, and you volunteer like all of the other board members do. And I'd like to invite all of you to come back, as Dr. Kolars mentioned, join us in Washington, D.C., April 14th to the 16th, and our satellite sessions on April the 13th, here in Washington, D.C. at the Washington Hilton. So again, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us at CUGH 2022, and we look forward to seeing you next year.
So one more speech from the CUGH Secretariat team. We would like to thank Martin, Dr. Keith Martin, for being such an exceptional leader and having organized this entire conference and being a great mentor to all of us. And this gives us the opportunity to thank you. So we really want to thank you, Keith. You see, everyone, we're all clapping. I know you are.
No, you guys did the work, and we have.
But really, thank you, Keith. Honestly, this was great. Thank you.
That's very kind of you. Thank you, Dilla. See, this surprised me. Anyway, thank you, everybody, and don't be strangers throughout the course of the year. Please join CUGH if you're not a member. At CUGH.org. We can only do our work if we are united together, and the larger our network, the larger we are, the more we come together, which we do throughout the year. Please join us in the family of CUGH as we work together to improve the health of people and the planet. Bye for now, and stay safe.